Dear friends, welcome you all. Today we are going to have another session on English literature MCQs, and this is the part 2. We have already done part 1, and in this part 2 we'll cover 100 MCQs again. So I have a humble request before starting this session that please do subscribe my channel for upcoming videos. So let's start. MCQ number 101. The repetition of beginning consonant sound is called alliteration. So its answer is alliteration. A comparison of unlike things without using a word of comparison such as like or is called metaphor. So answer is metaphor. 103. The comparison of unlike things using the words like or is called a simile is the answer. So 104. Using words or letters to imitate sounds is called as onomatopoeia. 105. A description that appeals to one of the five senses is called as imagery. 106. A poem that tells a story with plot, setting, and characters is called a narrative poem. 107. A poem with no meter or rhyme is called a free verse. 108. A poem that generally has meter and rhyme is called a lyric poem. 109. Shakespeare composed much of his plays in what sort of verse? So he composed much of his plays in iambic pentameter verse. 110. Which poet invented the concept of the variable foot in poetry? So it was William Carlos Williams who invented the concept of the variable foot in poetry. So triple one, who wrote this famous line? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, thou art more lovely and more temperate? So it was Shakespeare basically. 112, from what century does the poetic form the folk ballad date? So it dates from 12th century. 113, from which of Shakespeare's plays is this famous line? Did my heart love till now, fast rear its sight, for I never saw a true beauty until this night. So these famous lines have been taken from Romeo and Juliet. 114. What is a poem called whose first letters of each line spell out a word? Acrostic. It is called acrostic. 115. Auld Lang Syne is a famous poem by whom? So basically this poem has been written by Robert Burns, a famous Scottish poet, national poet of Scotland, and Robert Burns is the most discussed poet after William Shakespeare. The 116. How has Stephen Dunn been described in the Oxford Companion to the 20th Century Poetry? He has been described as a poet of middleness. So 117. The Cambridge School refers uh, to a group who emerged when. So Cambridge School actually refers to a group of poets who emerged in 1960. So 118. Margaret Atwood was born in which Canadian city? She was born in Ottawa is the answer. 119. Which of the following words describe the prevailing attitude of high modern literature? So the words which describe a prevailing attitude of high modern literature are skeptical and impressionistic. 120. Which Welsh poet wrote Under Milkwood? So it was Dylan Thomas. 121. Who wrote Canterbury Tales? Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of English literature. 122. Who wrote The Hound of the Baskervilles? Answer is Arthur Conan Doyle. 120. 123. Sorry. Dash is a late 20th century play written by a woman. And the play written by a woman in late 20th century is Camille. 124. Which of the following writers wrote historical novels? So historical novels were written by Sir Walter Scott and Maria Edgeworth. 125. Who wrote Ten Little Niggers? Agatha Christie. 126. Which of the following are Thomas Hardy's books? So, The Poor Man and the Lady and The Return of Native. 127. Who wrote the poems On Death and Women, Wine and Snuff? John Keats. Of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all are woo with loss of Eden. This is an extract from Paradise Lost, written by John Milton. So 129, William Shakespeare was born in the year 1564. 130, who wrote The Winter's Tale? William Shakespeare. So keep in mind, dear friends, that I have extracted these MCQs from different exams, competitive sort of exams and lectureship exams. 131, what is the difference between a simile and a metaphor? So answer, a simile uses as or like to make a comparison, and metaphor doesn't use as or like. 132, what is the word for a play on words? It is called pun. 133, which represents an example of alliteration? Peter Piper picked peppers. In alliteration, we have repetition of consonant sounds. 134, what is imitation of natural sounds in word form? Onomatopoeia. 135, the theme is, actually theme is defined as the point a writer is trying to make about a subject. So 136, concentrate on these elements when writing a good poem. So whenever you try to write a good poem, you have to concentrate on the theme of the poem, the purpose of the poem, the form of the poem, and the mood of the poem. So theme, purpose, form, and mood are the answers. So which is not a poetry form? Tale. So you can't have your cake and eat it too is an example of. So basically, it's a proverb. So 139, which is an exaggeration. So exaggeration is basically a hyperbole. 140, who has defined poetry as a fundamental creative act using language? So it was Alan Thomas. 141, what is a sonnet? A sonnet is called a 14-line poem. So 142, what is study of meter, rhythm, and intonation of a poem called as? It's called as prosody. So 143, which figure of speech is it when a statement is exaggerated in a poem? So exaggerated statement is called a hyperbole. So 144, there was aware of her true love at length come riding by. This is a couplet from the Bellis, daughter of Islington. What figure of speech is used by the poet? Actually, it is a synecdoche. 145, which culture is known for their long rhymic poetic verses known as Qasidas? Answer is Arabic. Complete this Shakespearean line. Let me not to the marriage of true minds bring. So this line will be completed by impediments, word impediments. 147, Jintishi is a poetic form of which language? So Jintishi is a poetic form of Japanese language. 148, what is the title of the poem that begins thus? What is this life is full of care. We have no time to stand and stare. It's taken from poem Leisure. 149, who was often called as the romantic poet is most of his poems revolve around the nature. William Wordsworth, one of my favorite poets. 150. What is a funny poem of 5 lines called? Its answer is Limerick. 151. How did W.H. Auden describe poetry? So W.H. Auden describes poetry is a game of knowledge. 152. Sazon and Brooke wrote what kind of poetry? So they both wrote war poems. 153. Where did T.S. Eliot spend most of his childhood? So he spent at St. Louis. 154. Ted Hughes was married to which American poetess? Sylvia Plath. He was married to. 155. How old was Rupert Brooke at the time of his death? 28 years. 156. In what form did Dylan Thomas's Under Milkwood first become known? A radio play. 157. The magazine Contemporary Poetry and Prose was inspired by which exhibition? The Surrealist exhibition. 158. Why did Poetry Quarterly cease publication in 1953? Honor convicted of fraud. 159. Aldous Huxley was a poet but was better known as what? Novelist. Answer. 160. Of which poet was it said, even if he is not a great poet, he is certainly a great something? Rudyard Kipling. 161. Which people began their invasion and conquest of southern West Britain around 450. So those were the Anglo-Saxons. 162. Words from which language began to enter English vocabulary around the time of the Norman conquest in 1066? French. 163. Which hero made his earliest appearance in Celtic literature before becoming a staple subject in French, English, and German literatures? King Arthur. 164. Toward the close of which century did English replace French as the language of conducting business in parliament and in court of law? 14th century. Which king began a war to enforce his claims to the throne of France in 1336? Edward III. 166. Who would be called the English Homer and father of English poetry? Geoffrey Chaucer. Homer is the great poet of you know uh, uh, Italy, so Italian literature. 167. What was vellum? So vellum was parchment made of animal skin. 168. Only a small portion of medieval books survive. Large numbers have been destroyed in. Its answer is the dissolution of the monasteries in the 1530s. 169. What is the first extant written specimen of Old English? Answer: a code of laws promulgated by King Ethelbert. 170. Who was the first English Christian king? And answer is Ethelbert. 171. Anglo-Saxon heroic poetry. What is the fate of those who fall to observe the sacred duty of blood vengeance? Answer: everlasting shame. Christian writers like the Beowulf poet looked back on their pagan ancestors with. Answer: admiration and elegiac sympathy. 173. The use of railroad for sea and life house for body are examples of what literary technique popular in Old English poetry? The answer is scanning. Which of the following statements is not an accurate description of Old English poetry? Romantic love is a guiding principle of moral conduct. 175. Which of the following best describes litotes, a favorite theatrical device in Old English poetry? Answer is ironic understatement. 176. How did Henry II, the first of England's Plantagenet kings, acquire vast provinces in southern France? His marriage to Eleanor of Aquitaine. 177. Which of the following languages did not coexist in Anglo-Norman England? Dutch is the answer. 178. To, to what did the word the Roman, from which the genre of romance emerged, initially apply? Answer. A work written in the French vernacular. 179. Popular English adaptations of romances appealed primarily to answer the clergy. 180. What is the climax of Geoffrey of Monmouth's The History of the Kings of Britain? Answer is the reign of King Arthur. 181. Ancrian Revel is a manual of instruction for answer women who have chosen to live as religious recluses. 182. In addition to Geoffrey Chaucer and William Langland, the flowering of Middle English literature is evident in the works of which of the following writers? Answer the Goan poets. 183. Why did the rebels of 1381 target the church, beheading the Archbishop of Canterbury? Answer. The church was among the greatest of oppressive landowners. 184. Which influential medieval text purported to reveal the secrets of the afterlife? Answer is Dante's Divine Comedy. 185. Who is the author of Piers Plowman? William Langland. What event resulted from the premature death of Henry V? Answer. The War of the Roses. 187. Which literary form developed in the 15th century personified vices and virtues? Answer. The morality play. 188. Which of the following statements about Julian of Norwich is true? Answer. She is the first known woman writer in the English vernacular. 189. Which of the following authors is considered a devotee to chivalry as it is personified in Sir Lancelot? Answer is Sir Thomas Malory. 190. Thomas Kidd achieved great popularity with which of his first work, The Spanish Tragedy? 191. Marlov born in 1564. 192. In the tragic history of Dr. Faustus, Faustus was a German scholar. 193. Who wrote The Massacre at Paris? Christopher Marlowe. 194. After the death of Christopher Marlowe, who completed his unfinished poem, Hero and Lander? George Campman. 195. Who succeeded Lily? Answer is Robert Greene. 196. Which of the Marlowe's plays were written in collaboration with Thomas Nash? The Tragedy of Dido and Queen of Carthage. 197. Who was the son of a rich London merchant and born in 1557? Thomas Lodge. 198. The collection of the papers and correspondence of a well-to-do Norfolk family is known as answer the Pestern Letters. 199. Who wrote Holy Sonnets? Answer is John Donne. 200 number. Who wrote following lines? I am involved in mankind and therefore never sent to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Answer is John Donne. So that's all for today. We again covered 100 MCQs. So as I earlier told you that I have collected these MCQs from different type of exams that have taken place in past, including exams of lectureship and other various competitive exams. So for further videos, please subscribe my channel. Till the next time, have a very nice time. See you. It's goodbye.